Welcome back to Morning Footy. Well, Guillem Balgue is on the go once again, and he is very kind because he has agreed to join us amidst his travels. Guillem, you're at an airport and you're wearing a hoodie. It's like casual Guillem. Right? I don't think I've ever seen this. This is awesome. I like this version.
Inspired by Alexis, quite clearly.
This is Guillermo.
Guillermo. Okay, where are you off to?
I'm going to Barcelona. I've got to La Liga TV stuff to do there. I'm meeting important people that's relevant to what we're about to talk to. Some of my sources related to Xavi Hernandez. Need to get close to what's going on there and what's going to happen next with Barcelona.
Okay, so this is a perfect segue into this conversation because I know that you've been speaking about the Xavi situation with Barcelona on some of our other shows, but we have not had the chance to speak with you on Morning Footy. So just want to get your initial reaction to his announcement over the weekend that he will step down at the end of the season. What did you make of it?
Remember that story I told you in the Christmas dinner in which the coaches were sat in front of the directors and the coaches said, these are the guys that are going to kill us. I think you could sense from there that things weren't right, and they haven't been for a long while. The context of it, of course, is that Xavi wins the league, but some of his allies, Jordi Cruyff, director of football, Mateo Alemany, CEO, disappeared, and they're replaced by friends of the chairman. He felt a little bit isolated. But I think he's given us more clues in every press conference he gives, Xavi, of why he's left. And it's a bunch of things. He's saying that he's not valued properly by the entourage, by the media, perhaps even by the directors. Generally, he feels that the job that they're doing has not been appreciated by Barcelona. First of all, why are you looking for somebody outside your world or even your head to approve what you're doing? If you're happy with it, that should be fine. But what he also was trying to say is that the pressure that Barcelona managers have gone through is far too much. For somebody that's won so much as a player, and now he's got in his CV, Barcelona winning the league and the Super Cup, that means that, in a way, job done. He's not desperate to have 50 years in managerial life. In fact, I doubt he actually will get another job now. He may not want to. So he doesn't have that hunger to challenge the world, to convince the world that he's good. And what he sees is people around him, his brother, assistant, his friends, assistants as well, his wife, a little bit tired like he is of all that you have to carry as a manager of Barcelona. So the pressure of being a Barcelona manager is something that has been discussed a lot, and is interesting in an era in which the likes of Klopp also talks about that as a reason to leave Liverpool. Mental health, this is what we're discussing here. So there is all that. There is the lack of empathy within the club. And a third thing that I say, and I promise you I will discuss this with him as well, because he likes to hear from others, from the outside, what they think of what he does. Was he good enough? For a team that actually, yes, won the league, you have to say they must be, or he must have been good enough. But it's also the medium term that what defines what a good coach is. And I think the team was getting worse, the players were getting worse, and no sign of improvement. And yes, the club was taking value of the squad because of financial reasons. But by now, you should see a Barcelona that should be the Xavi's Barcelona, and we're not seeing that.
Guillem, I was listening to Xavi's press conference yesterday, and I was trying to make sense out of a lot of things that he was saying. For example, you mentioned that he said yesterday he didn't feel valued, but I don't know what's a better form of value when you get a contract extension, right? You win the league, the president values your work, Laporta gave him re-signed him to a new contract this season, and then in the first moment of adversity, he starts talking about this pressure that Barcelona managers feel, as if he didn't know the nature of the job, as if he wasn't a culé his entire life and an idol. And then the standard that he set himself was play better. I want the team to play better, and the team has regressed. Clearly, he hasn't won the most important games. He hasn't won. Mind you, he's still alive in Champions League, but it just feels like he's been pushed to a point of no return so quickly that maybe you start asking yourself if he was cut out for this job in the long term?
It's a bunch of things there. If I give you a contract, Nico, and I stop asking you to come into the show in the morning, and I don't ask you to go away as you've been doing, you start feeling that that I don't love you. And I think the contract, in a way, was a forced way by the club to actually say, right, if you are doing well, you won the league, it seems like things are going well, we need to recompense that. Considering especially that the first contract, he wasn't paid that well. But it is true that that he, as I said earlier, he doesn't want to deal with the things that Pep Guardiola, Klopp, Arteta, all these people want to deal with. And that is living on the edge. That is being obsessively focused on his work. That is giving priority to that instead of his family. If you look to his Instagram, it's full of pictures that I've never seen of a manager going quite often with his family in days out or evenings out or with his kids just enjoying themselves. He's saying that's what I appreciate. He doesn't need the other stuff that goes with being a top manager in the elite. So yes, at some point, two things were going to happen. One, because he wasn't so obsessive about the details, about correction, about intensity, the team will drop. And they've fallen now. And secondly, at some point we'll say, you know what, I don't need any of this. So he already says that he'll be available if Barcelona want him in the future. He's trying to say, I've got an experience, a CV, and now I've been at the club at different levels. I can bring that back into the club when it's needed. But he doesn't need us to comment every single day on what we think of him. Doesn't need any of that.
Guillem, two quick questions. One, what time's your meeting with Rafa Marquez?
It's not Rafa Marquez, actually, but it's somebody that gave me a clue what was going to happen next. It's always interesting to hear, because I don't think they decided yet. But yes, Rafa Marquez is certainly in the list amongst others. Like, in a dream list, they'll have Xavi Alonso, Roberto De Zerbi, García Pimienta, Xavi Alonso. Did I say that already?
Yeah.
Just basically.
I can read between the lines.
Just basically big names, but Rafa Marquez is, for many, the favorite because he's close to Deco, close to the agent that deals with players at Barcelona now, or with some of the players, close to the agent that's close to the chairman, Jorge Mendes. I'm talking about here. Yeah. But Thiago Motta is another one in the list, so we'll see.
Well, listen, the last time Barcelona hired a player that last played in Mexico and coached the Barca B team, I think they did pretty well. So best of luck if they go with Rafa Marquez. But my real question is, with how much of a financial struggle Barcelona is in and how essential it is for them financially to get as far as possible in Champions League, do you honestly think Xavi will last the rest of the season?
Do you know why he will probably surely last the end of the season? For financial reasons, because they cannot pay for another manager. Because actually, does it make sense if you've got these doubts about yourself, about the entourage, about how the club is dealing with you, that you want to go? I think Xavi is very aware that he cannot go, but also when Laporta asked him to stay, he said no. So he's got a very clear idea that he wants to leave. He's decided now because I think he wanted the noise to disappear a little bit, the noise about his future that was present in every press conference. Having failed in the Super Cup, in the Cup, in the league, I mean, how are they going to win this league? And he himself putting himself under pressure and say, we have to get a title. Well, now the conclusion is clear. He thinks they cannot get a title. Even though, of course, as you said, the Champions League is absolutely essential for the future of the club, the immediate future of the club. That means raise enough money to bring players and make a little bit of a movement in the market. So that is, yes, why they need to go into the next round of the Champions League. And Xavi hopes that with taking all that noise away, everybody can focus on the job at hand and then at least get through to the next round, knock out Napoli and get to the quarters.
Before getting to Napoli, Barcelona have a match today, and a big one. You have to respond when things don't go your way. A lot of pressure on Xavi Hernandez. Lost 3 out of the last 5. What sort of reaction are you expecting from this Barcelona side today? Do they rally around their manager, or is it going to be a lot worse?
The side is divided. Not everybody is convinced that Xavi has got the level required to be the manager of Barcelona. But yes, one thing that seemed to have happened is that they all gone and said, all right, let's work hard to get this sorted for this season. Anyway, Lewandowski, who's one of the players that has been accused of not being at his level, but also doubting Xavi, organized a meal this week in his house. Everybody went in, and yes, they kind of decided that they will work as hard as they can to go as far as they can this season. But Osasuna is a difficult team. They already played them twice, one in the Super Cup not so long ago, beginning of January. It was very, very hard for Barcelona to actually qualify for the final. That was the semi-final of the Super Cup. But the two games have been victories to Barcelona. Right now, though, you cannot say Barcelona playing well or bad, because not sure what they're playing. They depend a lot on the individuals. And if the individuals perform, well then, all right, it may not be the way Barcelona should win the games in the way that they would like to win the games. But in any case, it may allow them to win the games. If individuals don't perform, Osasuna have got a chance to do some damage here, taking advantage of the lack of confidence of some of the players.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see the response that the supporters give him as well, because we saw what happened at Liverpool's first match after Klopp announced. It could be a very, very different scene, I would imagine. Guillem, thank you so much for taking the time to join us. Safe travels to you, and take very extensive notes, because I'm sure we're going to check back in with you soon. We want to find out everything that you find out on this trip. All right, we appreciate it. Okay.